Tonight on To The Point.
Remain alert, as danger has not yet passed.
Strong winds threatening progress in Los Angeles' wildfire fight. Tonight, a closer look at the devastation. Those who lost everything questioning what's next. Plus, forest management in California.
We have gotten nowhere near meeting those goals.
Experts weigh in on claims made. Could prescribed burns have ultimately stopped the fires last week? And what is Congress doing in California's time of need?
Every single natural disaster, we make sure that we prioritize the victims first.
Our interview tonight with Congressman Josh Harder, what he wants to see change. Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and tonight the death toll in the Los Angeles fires is now at 25. As search and rescue comb through that devastation, thousands of homes we know are destroyed, and tonight the largest and most destructive fires, the Palisades and the Eaton fires, sparked exactly 1 week ago and are still active firefights. Crews are also putting out the auto fire that sparked in Ventura County overnight. And new video today showing a closer look of Los Angeles from above. You can see churches, grocery stores, and dozens of homes just decimated. Tonight, we are addressing misinformation in these fires and hearing from survivors who are questioning what comes next. As the area is remaining on high alert with fierce Santa Ana winds that are continuing tonight.
Severe fire weather will continue through tomorrow. Therefore, these winds will produce hazardous fire behavior situations for our firefighters on the line.
Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods joins us tonight tracking these fire conditions. Monica.
Well, Alex, we've got that red flag warning in effect until Wednesday deep in the afternoon and early evening all throughout the Los Angeles basin here, extending north of Santa Barbara and all the way into San Diego. Particularly dangerous situation also brewing. This is when we have critically dry conditions, gusty winds, and the potential for a fire start that wouldn't be able to stop, and it would be fueled by those 70-plus-mile-per-hour winds. So this is going to be the area through Oxnard, just south of Santa Clarita, and then just north of that area as well, right along I-5. That will mainly be an impact early tomorrow morning through a good part of our Wednesday as these winds start to pick up overnight tonight through early tomorrow. As you can see, the perimeter right here of the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire, these winds are going to be most fierce north of those perimeters. But that is the situation we're going to be tracking throughout the day because of this weather setup right here. As that low starts to migrate its way eastward, we will see some relief in the winds temporarily. We've already seen that in the northern part of the state with calm winds, but lows for tonight dropping into the 30s. We'll talk more about these impacts coming up.
All right, Monica, thank you so much. As the fire emergency continues in Southern California, a special session at the state capitol has been postponed for now a second day in a row. Just yesterday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced that he is expanding the scope of the session to do more than, quote, Trump-proof the state. It will now include wildfire response and recovery. The governor is also asking lawmakers to shore more than $2 billion in funding for Los Angeles. Now, as firefighters fight these flames in LA, they are also fighting misinformation. Some claim that these fires could have been prevented through fuel management techniques like prescribed burns. I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen. She's been asking fire officials and fire experts tonight if that's true.
Well, Alex, there's been a lot of finger pointing over the severity of these fires, and many claim the state is not doing enough prescribed burning. But after talking with fire officials at the federal and state level, there is a lot more decision making that goes into this kind of field management.
In fiscal year 23-24, we treated 106,000 acres.
In an effort to curb wildfires, California aims to treat 1 million acres of land in the state each year. CAL FIRE plays a major role in these fuel reduction projects along with other agencies.
500,000 acres from the forest, the federal areas, and then 500,000 between CAL FIRE and then all of our local response areas. And to divide it even further, CAL FIRE's goal is to treat 100,000 acres every year.
CAL FIRE, the state's fire agency, says it met its goal for the previous fiscal year. This comes after Republican lawmakers criticized the state on Monday, saying California is not meeting its field reduction goals as fires continue to burn in Southern California, claiming lives and property.
There was a commitment to doing 500,000 acres a year in treatment. There was a partnership actually between the state and the federal government that the governor was proud to announce when it came out we have gotten nowhere near meeting those goals.
The U.S. Forest Service is part of the state's partnership, and right now, part of the Eaton fire is burning in their jurisdiction. As of October 2024, U.S. Forest says statewide it has done 3,500 acres of prescribed burns and more than 5,000 acres of mechanical treatments. The Forest Service says weather has played a big factor in trying to clear fuel in Southern California.
Southern California has not seen conditions appropriate for prescribed burning since last spring. So certainly we are not in any kind of condition in the southern half of the state to be looking at those prescribed fires now.
When asked if anything could have been done to prevent the destructive spread of the Southern California fires,
there's nothing. Let's just start with that. The conditions that we saw in Southern California last Tuesday were in above the 99.99th percentile of severity.
Environmental experts at Stanford University agree climate plays a major role in fire risks and management.
Even a large-scale fire break probably wouldn't have been effective in keeping the wildfire out of the communities. And once the communities are burning, the spread is from home to home, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the forest management.
While fires may be difficult to prevent, fire officials and scientists say homeowners can help minimize the spread by hardening their homes and property.
So far this fiscal year, CAL FIRE says they have treated just under 50,000 acres. They do have a public dashboard to keep track of their fuel reduction projects. If you want to check that out, we have posted a link on our website at abc10.com. Alex.
Jeannie, thank you so much. Earlier today, I sat down with Democratic Congressman Josh Harder from Stockton so we could discuss the aftermath of the fires in Los Angeles. He also touched on forest management and the insurance crisis. We have all heard the stories in LA. Many families are saying that they don't have fire insurance because their policies were canceled. Is the state doing enough to stabilize the insurance market here in California?
Well, the short answer is no. It's never felt so bad to be right. But the fact is, we're still seeing the repercussions from these fire insurance plans being canceled. And unfortunately, with the heartbreaking tragedy going on with the wildfires in Los Angeles, it's only going to compound this problem in the months and years ahead. The one point that I would make, though, is there is no path to affordable fire insurance in California if we have hundreds of billions of dollars of homes going up in smoke every single year. So the root cause of the issue isn't the insurance plans, it's not what the state is doing or not doing, it's the fires themselves. And that means that we need better fire management, more firefighters, better technology, less red tape right now to actually get to the heart of what's been going wrong across our state.
What can Congress do to help with this issue?
Congress can do a lot. 40% of the land in California is federally owned, and often that's the land that's the most poorly maintained, where the firefighters are the fewest, where the technology is antiquated, and where there's a lot more red tape than there needs to be to actually do the preventative maintenance that needs to be done. On the insurance plans, California can also get a lot of help from the federal government. We can replicate that flood insurance program for fire insurance, but we can't do it when we're facing wildfires at the rate we're doing right now.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has made some remarks about California leaders and aid being sent for the recent fires in Southern California that I want to play for you right now.
Obviously, there's been water resource mismanagement, forest management mistakes, all sorts of problems. And it does come down to leadership, and it appears to us that state and local leaders were derelict in their duty in many respects. So that's something that has to be factored in. I think there should probably be conditions on that aid. That's my personal view. We'll see what the consensus is.
What is your response to Speaker Johnson's remarks, and do you agree with him?
I think it's really shameful if people are trying to play politics and move forward their own partisan agenda with these disasters as an excuse. Every single natural disaster, we make sure that we prioritize the victims first, and I think that needs to happen right now.
You have recently introduced the Modernizing Wildfire Safety and Prevention Act. This bill would combat the firefighter shortages, retain wildland firefighters by improving benefits and also updating fire technology. How could a bill like this help California with the fires that we're seeing right now?
We're really trying to fight 21st century wildfires with 19th century plans and technology. And clearly, that's not working. We've seen wildfires escalate over 800% across California just in the last 5 years. And so we have to get to the bottom of why that's happening. And the solution is better firefighters, more technology, and less red tape. That's exactly what this bipartisan bill does.
Now, you said less red tape. Can you dig into that a little bit about why that's important in your opinion?
Yeah, look, oftentimes if you have to get a permit from the air board or the water board, it could take months or even years before you're actually able to do that vegetation management to make an area less susceptible to wildfires. I don't think we can wait that long. We've seen that in San Joaquin County just over the last couple of years. I talked to one of our fire departments recently, and they told me that they were held up from actually doing vegetation management on one of our major rivers because there were some endangered species. They had to walk away from that project. The next wildfire season came in, the whole area went up in smoke. All the endangered species were devastated. And unfortunately, that happens time and time again in California.
Now, Congressman Josh Harder was one of 9 Congress members I recently spoke to on our half-hour special on California's insurance crisis. You can stream To The Point special investigation right now on our ABC 10 Plus app. All you have to do is look for California's home insurance crisis on the home screen. Still ahead, our wildfire coverage continues. Tonight, families who evacuated share their stories of survival as they work to rebuild their lives.
We've seen a repeated pattern of dry conditions, patchy frost ahead for the work week forecast, as well as burn restrictions in place.
Plus, Trump's cabinet picks on Capitol Hill. Trump's defense secretary pick, Pete Hegseth, facing hours of questioning. What could happen next? All right, let's take a closer look at our weather and bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. Some very cold early morning temperatures overnight, freezing.
Yes, we've seen some patchy frost developing overnight, and that pattern will continue. Morning lows today started off close to the freezing mark up and down the valley. Sacramento Executive at 31, Fairfield 29, saw teens in the high country. Highs, though, warm nicely to about the upper 50s, low 60s. Again, slightly above average. 50s for the foothills and close to 50 for the Sierra. Burn status for tomorrow. We are going to have some restrictions with this stable air pattern over us. A whole lot not moving in the atmosphere. And so all that particulate matter is staying close to the surface. So for wood burning appliances like our fireplaces, wood burning stoves, we have some restrictions for Sacramento County. No burning unless exempt. And Stanislaus County, no burning unless registered. As far as tomorrow's forecast, just a very light wind, mostly sunny skies. We start the morning off in the 30s with sunrise at 7:22, sunset at 5:10. Our highs will reach the lower 60s. I'll look at our futurecast. Well, we get rid of the winds for Southern California during the afternoon tomorrow into our Thursday. High pressure ridge building in. That's going to bring sinking warming air, continued mild conditions. But then what happens over the weekend as another low starts to move its way into the Great Basin? So we're returned to those offshore winds for the weekend outlook. It doesn't look as problematic, but we'll be watching for a continued offshore wind event over the weekend. Highs in the 40s tomorrow for the Sierra with 50s down the hill. Traveling towards the coast, our highs warm into the 60s after morning lows for inland areas in the 30s. Another frosty start to the day for our midweek outlook with sunny skies ahead. Our 5-day regional forecast, there's no precipitation out there. We'll stay very consistent in terms of our temperatures. Highs in the 40s up top for the Sierra, 50s and 60s for the foothills and for the coast with variable cloud cover. 3-day outlook for the valley, highs in the low 60s tomorrow and Thursday. We drop to the 50s over the weekend. That's going to be about the only taste of winter-like conditions along with those morning lows because the precipitation is just absent here for the next 10 days.
All right. Thank you, Monica. Next, on To The Point, wildfire survivors questioning what comes next, how they're working to rebuild their lives, plus how Washington is preparing for the Trump transition as Senate confirmations are underway. Welcome back. We are continuing to track the aftermath of the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. Fire survivors now face a daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Tonight, Lionel Moyes shares stories of survival and how neighbors are leaning on each other.
Many victims of the Los Angeles wildfires say they are trying to begin to pick up the pieces.
It was extremely shocking. We kind of still had the hope as we were driving up the neighborhood, but there was no neighborhood left.
This woman reacting to the moment her family realized her grandmother's home of more than 50 years was gone. The home in Altadena, one of the few places in Los Angeles where Black families were allowed to buy homes at the time.
My mom made quilts for everyone, and they're all burned and gone now.
The family had insurance, but not fire insurance. Amid the devastation, a glimmer of hope as this family checked on their home in Altadena, the only thing left standing, an angel statue.
As much as I burst into tears, and it was, that something survived, but it also just gave me hope.
The community coming together to support one another.
Anything you need. All right.
An elementary school principal who lived in a house on campus that burned is more concerned about her students who lost not only their homes, but also their school.
I've lost everything, like so many of our families. And, to lose a school community on top of that has just been horrific.
For many in Altadena, rebuilding is also about reclaiming financial security. Families watching generational wealth reduced to ashes. With so many displaced, finding temporary housing has been difficult.
We've been bouncing from Airbnb to Airbnb, and we're looking for a place to rent, but everyone else is too.
And countless stories of strangers jumping into action. This man in Pacific Palisades emotional, returning to find that someone, presumably a complete stranger, tried to use his hose to save his home.
I still get choked up when I see that garden hose or think about that garden hose, because to me, that's Pacific Palisades. In our best moments, we help one another, we risk our lives for one another, and that's what happens.
Lionel Moyes, ABC News.
Survivors also face financial challenges beyond rebuilding. Many bought their homes decades ago and saw their values grow to over $1 million. Now the question is, how do they afford to stay in these communities? And just so you know, our wildfire coverage does not end here. You can find live updates and our in-depth reports into the LA fires on our ABC 10 Plus app. This app is free to download wherever you stream. All right, turning to the Trump transition now, we are less than a week away from President-elect Donald Trump's second inauguration. In Washington, D.C., security preparations are in full swing. On Monday, 25,000 law enforcement officials will be on duty, including 4,000 officers, 7,800 National Guard members, along with a fleet of drones, tactical teams, counter snipers, and fencing. We also know country music star Carrie Underwood. She is expected to perform along with disco icons, the Village People. Officers from Butler County, Pennsylvania, will also march in the inaugural parade. They are credited with helping to stop the shooter who opened fire on Trump in July. Trump's cabinet picks had a crucial day on Capitol Hill in the confirmation process. Senators questioned Pete Hegseth for hours today about his qualifications. The veteran and former Fox News host is Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense. Hegseth was met with cheers and protesters before the committee hearings. He faces allegations of sexual misconduct, alcohol abuse, and financial mismanagement. All allegations he denies.
But you acknowledge that you cheated on your wife and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that. I will allow your words to speak for themselves. You're not retracting that today. That's good.
There are also questions if Hegseth is qualified for the role, as he has never led a large organization.
I know I've never run an organization of 3 million people with a budget of $850 billion. But what I do know is that I've led men and women. I've led people.
Hegseth has said women should not serve in combat roles, but recently changed that stance. His confirmation could come down to Republican Senator Joni Ernst, a combat veteran and sexual assault survivor. And happening tomorrow, President Biden will address the nation from the Oval Office for his farewell address. You can watch ABC's special coverage starting at 5 p.m. right here on ABC 10. And make sure you stay with us. We're back after this short break with what we're working on for tomorrow, and we're looking for your input. All right, coming up tomorrow on To The Point, I'm interviewing Sacramento's new mayor, Kevin McCarty, about his first priorities in office. And if there is something you want us to ask him, send us your questions via email at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can always text us. Our number is 916-321-3310. It is so good to be back. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. And remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. And To The Point does not end here. You can always watch stories featured on our show. Just download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream. Have a great night, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.